Let's crack into the preview, starting with race number 2, and this is the market for the Highmaster Premier. Anya is $3.20, $3.30 Casino LJ, high quality at $3.80. Stephen Hunt, has there been much action in this 6-horse second race over 2,400 metres?
There has, Jason. It's around the 4 and 6 during the week, and Argent and Casino LJ is $3.20, placed $3.30. They both came in from their opening lines during the week. Excuse me, Argent from a $3.80 price and Casino LJ, who opened at $4. So both of them have come in, even though there has been a scratching of Solsifay this morning. The best bet runner, most popular runner this morning, Jason, has been High Quality. Double the investment on High Quality v the top 2 in the market. High Quality opened at $4.50 this morning. It's now trading at $3.80. So there's your late market mover lead in race 2 at Trentham today. Monderani solid at $5.50, Gorbachev $6.50 out to $7.5, and Master Fin not friendless, even though it's a rank outsider at $34.
The Punters Lounge Speed Maps brought to you by formpro.co.nz and formproratings.co.nz. Not much green here, Bevan. It looks like it's not a straightforward race to try and sort out from a mapping perspective, which it could be a little bit niggly. I guess it's more about handling conditions, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's more about which horse will handle these track conditions. I thought Argene was the clear leader in the race. As we saw over the longest race in the country, it sort of led up, found a kick and was hard to run down. But there's better horses in this race than there were in that particular race, no doubt about it. A horse like High Quality obviously has great ability. You've got the Wellington Cup winner in here, albeit having to carry a fair bit of pudding. Casino LJ made a really good impression in behind Beauty Star last time, as did Monderani, who really went up to win that particular race. So, look, I was a bit surprised Argene came up at that sort of quote, just with the step up in grade the race seems to be for me. I went with the 6 Casino LJ on top, down on the minimum with Lisa Allpress aboard. Look, it was a very, very good effort. Hastings coming from well back in that field to get that run back towards the inside and go down a very short margin. These track conditions are a concern, but I thought it was the one you had to have a look at. High Quality's a horse who should back up quite nicely out of Voltiki. Good quality horse who tries really, really hard, very honest on the quick back up. I quite like that. Argene's in the mix, and I wouldn't leave Gorbachev out of the mix as well. He's on a path to the big staying races again, but he's had a couple of runs in his legs, and he wasn't too bad last time. A little bit unlucky not to finish a fair bit closer, but in a very tricky race, Jason, I went with Casino LJ with not a lot of certainty.
Yeah, you know I've got a soft spot for Gorbachev, but just one of those situations of picking the right time to back him, and you wouldn't think that's today. Race number 3, this is the market for it. Trifolium is the $2.10 favourite. Belle Plaisir is at $3.80 from second slip. Has there been much action on Trifolium here, Steve?
Yeah, clearly the best lead, Jason. I know you were pretty keen on this particular runner on the first call on Thursday evening. Trifolium opened at $2.30 into $2.10, accounts around about 85% of total turnover, so it's almost one-way traffic around number 2, who's been contesting in black type company. Suited back to 3-year-old company at set weights and penalties. Lisa Allpress, just touching on Lisa Allpress, she's $1.95 to take out today's J Challenge in front of Rosie Myers. Those two dominate that particular market. Outside the favourite, Belle Plaisir, $3.50 out to $3.80. Second slip solid at $4.80 off a shortener of 4.6. Mascarpone, 6 out to 7, and Magnus best of the rest at $12. But it's one-way traffic around the favourite, number 2, Trifolium.
I must say, Bevan, that if this track was sort of a dead track, I would have been extremely confident about Trifolium. Just a little bit wary, because I know that a Trentham heavy can trip up anything.
Yeah, but I just get the feeling if you're going to find one on the program, this is it, Jason. This particular performance was on a wet track at Wanganui. It was a race taken out by Riva Capri, so it's good black type company. It was fresh up, and it showed really good heart on these track conditions to keep on kicking. Riva Capri comes off its back and goes to it quickly, and it's a good form race. There's some nice horses in here. Sorrentino out wide as well, so the form around it is solid. I think it'll handle these track conditions against horses who I've got good question marks about. This performance tells me this horse will win. It's the best on the program for sure. 2.3 was generous, and I think it'll be winning. It'll be my best, as it was yours on the first call on the program. Trifolium, the top selection for sure. Belle Plaisir is an emerging horse. The win was very, very good at Wanganui. He backed that up with a nice effort behind Swords Draw. And the form's not massively dissimilar to Trifolium, but just going with that race day experience, Senior Hooper board. Second Slip's a nice quality horse as well. Dominated that race at Otiki off a forward position. Holly's got the inside draw. Whether that's a place to be when we get into race 3 will be a question mark. They may be just scouting a little bit wider, and Mascarpone's been going nice enough. But I can't disagree with you, Jason. This is clearly the bet of the day on the program in Trifolium.
It's the happy 80th Sir Patrick and Justine Lady Hogan, race number 3. Race number 4 is the Hanley Formula Wellesley Stakes. Play that song, $2.60. We've got the thoughts of Rosie Myers, of course, going off what she's seen rather than having ridden the daughter of showcasing before. Platinum Dubai's 360 rather, 280 is Delaterre. And quite like that performance, the daughter of Reliable Man, when she made her debut at Whanganui. Any leads here, Steve?
Customers believe there's an upset on the cards here, Jason, and it's in the bottom 3, the 5, the 6, and the 5, the 7, and also number 2. So the 3 rank outsiders, even though Platinum Dubai play that song and Delaterre all have race day form. Play that song. A lot of these opening lines to what they're trading now, a little bit misleading around Cool as a Beal, who came out yesterday. Mosa's currently our biggest liability, number 5 in the book. Opened at 12 this morning into 10. Only Words, who was an eye catcher at the trials, 15. Got as high as 21, back into $17. And Power and Glory comes in to this particular race on debut on the back of a trial win. You look at its pedigree, it's a real up-and-go kind of family, being by or out of Hell Year. So Gary Voles had good success out of that family, and as it stands right now, that's the second biggest liability around Power and Grey, and notably a $500 bet yesterday at $26 to get its priced 18. So even though there's a few at the top of the book that have really strong race day form, they're like a couple here that are making their debut.
A very difficult speed map. Just what are your thoughts in general about the race here, Bevan?
Oh, I really like one here. I like Delaterre. I think this horse is very, very progressive. I love what it did at the trials before going to Wanganui over 800 metres, and gee, the last bit of its week's good. It's the full to Ala Loon, and I think it's going to make the grade with time. Today, I expect it to be right there. I thought this was a very, very good effort. Just didn't quite know how to gather itself for a couple of bounds you see there. It's got a little bit unbalanced when Ryan really asked the horse to go. The leader's a sharp horse. I don't think there's any doubt about that. He really tries hard in his little compact Savabeel. And there's a bit more stretch around the outside horse, Delaterre, and I think it'll be very, very competitive here. Form in behind's not overly bad as well, clearly with some nice winning form coming out there. So I'm very keen on this horse. Race day form's great form, yes. Power and Glory's a nice horse for Gary Vole. He wasn't going to start, and when Cool as a Beal came out, he said to me, well, I might as well go with this particular horse. Tough little horse, he believes, and he thinks it's got a lot of potential. Only Words looked good at the trials, and Clinton produced a young horse last season to run with good credit. Play that song. I wasn't sure what to make of the Ruakaka. You come to Trentham and hit a heavy 11. That's a different ballpark, but a good quality horse. I went 6 over 4. The 3 Platinum Dubai, it was a race at Otaki where the favourite dropped the rider at the start. So it had looked good at the jump outs before that nice one. That's in for 3rd. And then, yeah, I have put in Power and Glory because I know he's tough. The jump outs and at the trials I've seen him. He missed away at that trial and still won. So I'm going to stick with Delaterre. It's a horse, look, I've really been looking forward to seeing come out second up after that run at Wanganui and what I saw at the trials. I think it's just got that little bit of quality about it, Jason, and I expect it to be in some nice races going forward.
Race 5 is the Tui backing a winner since 1889, and this is how things stack up market-wise. Princess Emily's at 360. From Skaloe, Mars Bars, 415, 480. King Cougar, $5. Stephen, we've often seen and heard from you the money about Skaloe at various stages throughout his career. Can you give us any reports today?
No money as yet, Jason. Whether he needs the run or the price is too good probably remains to be seen at this stage, around number 6, Skaloe, but very hard for first up horses. Doesn't matter what trip you're contesting today at Trentham to win on heavy 11 conditions, and that might be putting off the customers around number 6 and Skaloe. Princess Amelia also struggling to find a ticket on her as well, so they're looking to spec against the top 2 here in Princess Amelia and Skaloe. Your genuine market move and the best bat runner is the third favourite here in Mars Bars. Not a winner this preparation, Jason. It's hit a lot of seconds of late, but they're pretty keen. At a $5.50 price we offered on Thursday, got its price down to $4.80, and that money came as soon as this market opened. So they're pretty keen on the Alan Sharrett runner Mars Bars. King Cougar, solid at that $5 price, even though it has to carry top weight. And Island Bay, a bit of specking for a notable leader here, 14 to 13. But the best lead is round number 8, Mars Bars.
Thanks, Stephen. Here is the Form Pro Speed Map. Island Bay and King Cougar, horses that could potentially go forwards. Race down the chute over 1,200 metres. Swens, what were you doing on Wednesday afternoon?
Wednesday afternoon?
You were the man behind Mars Bars? No, wasn't there, Jace. Look, let's have a quick chat about Scarlowy first and foremost. Now, this horse, obviously Jonathan's been aboard, so I need to give you the background information. He probably would have pushed harder to ride Scarlowy if Colin thought he was right at his best. So the suggestion from Colin was that he might just need one this preparation. So I'm not saying he can't win, but the information coming through from the trainer is that, look, he's just had a couple of jump outs, so he might just need one here this afternoon, Scarlowy. So how do we get 310 on Princess Emily at Waverley is the first thing you'd say, and you'd say that she's got to be a massive winning chance. She's just seemed to be back in some sort of form at her most recent performance. Look, she's a big, strong mare. She won a really nice race here last preparation. I think she can handle wet track conditions. And look, this was soft and a reasonable sort of race. And when she walked into the birdcage, I thought, well, this is, you know, one of those times you look at a horse and go racecourse certainty. And she lived right up to that and won really, really nicely. She's big, she's strong. I think she'll push forward, sit on speed. Excuse me, and she'll be hard to beat. I think King Cougar with Jonathan Parks back aboard, strong rider, suits him. He'll be a winning chance in this. Scarlowy, I'm going to put him in just with that little rider that says that Scarlowy might just need one here this afternoon, but he is a horse you can follow. And look, Mars Bars, when the money comes from that part of the world, you've got to treat it with a fair bit of respect. And I know Alan thinks a fair bit of Mars Bars and its winning chances, although it hasn't quite got the job done in recent times. But I can't really see Princess Emily not being out of 1, 2 or 3, so I'll go with her on top, Chase. Sounds like it could be a part of the $100 strategy there. Race number 8 is the G and Hickton Funeral Directors Thompson Handicap. Secret Allure is $3.20, Polly Gray $3.30. Morning Care at 6. And you've got 3 runners there at $9.50. Dolcetto, Jessie G and Gallardo. Race number 8, the Thompson. Has there been much action developing in this market since you opened this, Stephen?
Yeah, a lot of traction around Secret Allure on Thursday, Jason, early stages of Friday at a $3.10 price. It's now travelling at $3.20. There's a couple of reasons, just to get the overall percentage down. But also the money for number 5, Polly Gray, which we've taken yesterday afternoon and first stages today around Polly Gray for Kylie Fawcett on the back of a Matamata Cup win. $4.20 second favourite on opening on Wednesday. Now short as $3.30, so there's 10 cents separating the top 2 in the book. And I wouldn't be surprised if Polly Gray started favourite later on this afternoon from what I'm seeing in multis, but also singles. Mauna Kea in that third line of betting, very, very solid. A little bit of a move here, $7.50 into $6. Looks well placed with the toppy in the race. And Dolcetto, $6.50 out to $9.50. Friendless there. Jessie G, $7.50 out to $9.50. So a couple of cold horses. And I'll just quickly mention Irish Flame. Loves the heavy track. Barrier 1, a little bit of a concern. But I'm sure Lee Hemi can right the wrongs there. 14 into 11 spect, even though it's the rank outsider.
Okay, this is how the map looks from Form Pro. Mauna Kea, you expect that Mauna Kea would be the leader in this race. Swains, the tempo, there's no tempo listed here. What sort of speed do you think Dylan Turner might want to set on Mauna Kea to give him his best chance of winning?
Well, I think he'll go along at reasonable sort of tempo because the horse has managed to keep up a very strong gallop across a lot of its performances on wet track conditions, and it is the horse that's probably suited best in this race with a heavy 11, no doubt about that. And I didn't think it was a bad effort behind Melody Bell. Lost a bob behind here at Nawi on a wet track, so there are great form lines there. The horse that I couldn't work out in this particular race was what to do with Dolcetto. I know he's got 60 kilos. That doesn't really concern me about him because he's a big, strong horse, and he was very good behind Melody Bell, but he comes back to the 1,600 metres. Just didn't know where to position him. I look at him in this sort of race and look at $9.50 and think, is that crazy money? but I just didn't know where to put him in my selections. When you look at horses further down the handicap, and you've got a horse like Secret Allure with 53 on her back, and what she has done, not just last start, but with her win here. So she was the one I put on top. The one I really expect to run a race today is Jessie G. Look, she had no luck in behind Secret Allure, and I know she's coming up really nicely from what I've seen visually looking at her, and I think this might just be her season. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if Jessie G can take this race out here this afternoon and possibly go on and compete in some even more serious races this time. And Polly Gray's been going great guns for Kylie Fawcett. She's a good tough mare, and she will put in. The one at New Plymouth really did astound me, the way she over-raced and managed just to keep on kicking, and the trip she had in transit, she had no luck, and she's done that on 2 or 3 occasions. So you just can't knock what Polly Gray's been doing. And then I put in Mauna Kea, because the wet track, if there's a horse at the maiden that's probably suited best to track conditions that will present today, it's Mauna Kea. So I had to put that in. Therefore I've left Dolcetto out, which feels as though I might be getting that wrong at $9.50, because he's probably, in my mind, the best horse in the race and has the record to suggest that. But just back to the 1600 metres with 60, there's just a couple of niggles there, but I've got a sneaking suspicion I might be getting that wrong. So I marked them 4, 3, 5 and 2. Yes, Secret Alert looks as though it is the one you need to be on, but I've got a suspicion as well that you might just see a run from Jessie G. So I think that price is getting a little bit large, and something that I'll be looking at taking later on in the afternoon.
Okay, Bevan, $100
Strategy.
each and every week. Strategy?
Well, Jace, I've been so close around it and mucking around trying to get a reasonable sort of result. So I'm just going to keep it simple today. Best bet's Trifolium. Lincoln Dreamer now, like this horse back on the wet track conditions, can really finish off hard on wet track conditions. So I like it quite a bit this afternoon at some value. And get interested in your thoughts around Platinum Invader when I come back to you, Jace, because this is a serious racehorse. He was given a very quiet run at Hawara in my mind, 1600 metres, down on the minimum. I just got a niggling suspicion there as well. You might see something different out of Platinum Invader today. So as far as its strategy goes, I'm just going to keep it simple. I'm going to try and double the money and look at the Cox Plate later on in the afternoon. So we'll put the whole 100 on Trifolium and leave it at that.
Yeah, excellent. It would be really interesting to hear from Lisa Latter about Platinum Invader. Wasn't sure, he might be one run away and maybe be looking for a little bit more ground, but gee, he can really power home. Then you've got the Trentham track conditions, which apply to him and every runner on the card there. But thanks to Bevan Sweeney, we'll be with him and Tony Lee to go through the Thompson program.